Welcome back to Elephant's YouTube channel. I bet you're like, Elephants. Or if you know me personally, you're like, Precious, you look pretty spiffy today. Well, thank you. I have on my cardigan and my glasses because I'm hoping that I can teach you something in this video. No, but seriously, today I'm going to be doing my study tips video. Excuse me.
A few moments later, 2,000 years later, one eternity later.
I'm trying to hit my water intake. But I'm going to be doing my study tips video. And in my computer science, Black woman with a comp sci degree, we were in the comments chatting. And a lot of you guys wanted to know my tips for studying. So I'm here to drop them tips like it's hot. Excuse me. If that was cringe, just ignore it. If I ever do anything that you deem cringe, I want you to pretend that it never happened. All right. So, what makes me think that I'm qualified to give you study tips? Well, because somebody asked for it and because I got a 4.0 in my last semester of my computer science degree. And I bet you're like, your last semester? Yeah, because it took me that long to finally learn how to study. And instead of you taking that long to learn how to study, I'm going to give it to you on a silver platter for free. Also, I got a 4.0 in my engineering management master's. Awesome masters. Because I know how to study now. Hey. Okay. So, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be looking down on my iPad. Why? Because I wrote down notes. Because I wanted to remember every single thing that I thought of about this subject to make sure that I give you the information that you need. So, the number one thing I want you to do is to take a learning style quiz. If you know your learning style, cool. If you don't, I'm going to link the learning style quiz in the description box. Take that. That is very essential. You need to learn how to make sure that you're studying to fit your learning style. It's very important. And I'm actually going to go through each learning style, give you the characteristics and what you need to do to study and align your studying with that learning style. So, first,
A few moments later.
if that's distracting, let me know. Actually, don't let me know. Number one, you need to study for at least a week minimum for your exam.
No, God!
Studying the night before, studying for 2 days. If you're taking the classes I was taking, like high-level STEM courses, you're going to need more time than that. And I understand you're probably like, Elephants, you don't understand. I have 3 exams that same week. No, I understand. I've had 5 exams in the same week. Like, I literally had an exam for every single class I was taking. I don't think it was 5, it was 4. I had an exam for every single class I was taking. But when that happens, when you have all those exams in that same week, you need to focus on the course that you know you're the weakest in. What course do you know you don't know nothing for real? That's the course you need to be studying way in advance for, and you like do a priorities. You know, you layered it out. So, my second study tip is use your first exam in every class as a sample. When I started doing this, it unlocked new territory. Teachers or professors, they all quiz and test you differently. They just have different methods. So compare what like the PowerPoint or the information they give you to the way they test you. How do they want you to answer these questions on a test? What are they hoping that you learned in the course? Like, look at the test and find their testing style. Yep. Once you're able to understand what the teacher wants you to learn, what the teacher wants you to gain, like, are they true or false? Do they want explanations? Once you gain that, it'll be easier to take those exams. Also, if you do terrible on the first test, relax. It was a sample. No, seriously. Just make sure that you do way better on the second one. All right. Third tip. Do that study guide. Do that study guide. If a professor provides you with the study guide, you need to be doing it from front to back, left and right. Completely complete that study guide. It's like a legal cheat sheet, except you're not cheating. And you probably not going to use it during the test. But still, do it. It'll give all the information. And you need to use that study guide to study once I give you these ways to learn and study. So, more tips. Active recall. So you can test yourself regularly instead of just rereading. So instead of just rereading PowerPoints, try to see if you can say what you read. Like, put the PowerPoint away. What do I remember from this word? What do I remember about this? And just tell it to yourself. Speak to yourself. 2, spaced repetition. Review material over time to reinforce memory. That's why I tell you, you need at least a week. At least a week, so that every other day you can be like, what do I remember from this? What do I remember from this? So that it can actually stick into your brain and you can actually recall the information. Also, do practice problems. Do practice problems. You have to do practice problems, especially for math and engineering. Try to see if you can solve it. Also, this is the tip that I live by. No matter your study, no matter your learning style, you can do this. Study in intervals. So what I would do is I would do 35 minutes of studying and then 10-minute break. You can do 25 to 50 minutes of studying and then 5 to 10 minutes of break. This is called the Pomodoro method. And if I didn't say it right, it's okay. English is my second language. Seriously. Also, write formulas in different colors to highlight variables and constants. When I was in Calculus 2, I will literally circle different formulas and write them in different colors so that it can stick to my brain, and that actually did help. So try doing that. Try color coding the subjects if you're a visual learner. Also, make sure you convert word problems into sketches and diagrams before solving. Like, I would put constants and lines and stuff like that so I can make sure that I'm visually seeing which number needs to go here, which number needs to go there, and it just helps so much. If you are an auditory learner, it means that you learn best by listening, speaking, and discussing. So you can take one of those general tips that I gave and you can explain concepts out loud and you can pretend that you're teaching it to someone. This is called the Eichmann technique. Also, you can join or create a study group to discuss problems and solutions. I'm telling you, talking to people in college, it might seem a little scary, but people want to learn and study just as much as you do. So speak to your classmates and see if they want to make a study group. Also, use rhymes and songs to remember formulas or sequences. They have like this whole part of YouTube where they literally make songs for biology, terminology, and all this types of stuff. If you're an auditory learner, lock into that because that means that's the best way for you to catch on to stuff. Also, number 3, my reading or writing learners. Reading/writing learners. Your characteristics is that you prefer text, reading, and writing as your main mode of learning. So you should rewrite the class notes. Rewrite all them PowerPoints. Well, not all of them, but the key points that you need to remember. And if you write it in your own words, it will even help with the clarity you need. Also, summarize textbook chapters into concise outlines, into like a study guide or on the study guide if you already have one. Work through step-by-step written problems to understand math and physics problems. Like write step 1, write step 2, because that's how you remember. So write it out. Like step 1, I have to move this constant to the left side. Step 2, yes. Okay, you should also use flashcards for equations, definitions, and terminology. Problem on the front, solution on the back, so that you can try and recall it and rewrite it. Rewrite the flashcard if you need to so that it can stick to your brain. And also keep a STEM journal so you can reflect on the concepts and your problem-solving strategies that you have been using. Now for my hands-on learners, kinesthetic learners. Your characteristic is that you learn best by doing through movement and through real-world applications. I'm going to be honest. If you're a hands-on learner and you're studying, you need to take breaks so that you can reset your focus and move around. Okay? You need to perform experiments, lab work, or physical demonstrations whenever it is possible. Whenever you can build something with your hands, do it. If it's biology and you want to build a cell, build a cell. Like, build a fake one. Okay? Literally use STEM kits, models, interactive simulations. Also, solve practice problems by physically writing and reworking them instead of just reading solutions. Reading a PowerPoint doesn't help with you. You need to do. Okay? Also, you can act out processes or use manipulatives. Like, you can use 3D models, or you can pretend to be the mitochondria. Put it in that work. Put it in that work. Okay? Okay, now, if you're a mix of multiple learning styles, 5, multimodal learners. Well, the characteristics is that you learn best by using multiple styles. So intertwine these strategies, mix them up. Okay, alternate between watching tutorials, reading notes, and doing practice problems. Use apps or digital platforms to incorporate visuals, interactive, and explanation together. I loved Quizlet. I know Quizlet has gotten weird now, but there has to be something like that out now. And I know that with the spike of AI, some people are like, okay, I just want to use ChatGPT. But it's like, don't you actually want to know how to do stuff? I feel like it's very important that we still understand how to do certain things without the AI. You know what I mean? So it's very important to tap in and to study. And when you're taking tests, I know teachers are going to move to more of a pen and paper type of test. It's very important that you actually know the material. So let me know if taking the learning style quiz helps, and if any of these study tips will be incorporated into your study habits. Thank you so much for watching Elephants. See you later. And let me know, what should I post? What should I post next?